Classic rock album reviews coming right at you.
Schmack-a-magob, 45 years ago today, the greatest, in my opinion, debut album ever released. The first Van Halen album, which reminds me of a comment I once got where somebody said, "I can't believe he said with a straight face, this album is better than Appetite for Destruction." Well, let me do it again with a straight face. It is the greatest debut album by anybody, and still my favorite Van Halen album, and I don't think they made a bad album with Diamond Dave. This album, 2, I love them all in order. This is my favorite, then 2, then Women and Children First, then Fair Warning, then Diver Down, then 84. Then Different Kind of Truth. But this album is a game changer. I mean, it doesn't sound like anything from the past. You even get a cover song on here, You Really Got Me. It sounds like they pumped steroids into that song. It's just flawless. And these pictures were taken at the Whiskey A Go-Go, where they used to play a lot. And the first time I ever heard anything from this album was my friend's older brother, really. He was my friend too, Ronnie. Lived up the street, and he's like, "Hey, Ralph, come in my car. I want to play you something." And he played me Eruption. That was the first thing I heard from this album, and I was like, that's a guitar? I couldn't believe it, I mean, yes, there's a lot of controversy where, well, Eddie didn't, invent the guitar tapping. Well, Ronnie James Dio didn't invent this either, but he's the one that brought it to the masses. And Eddie brought the finger tapping to the masses, and he did it himself, man. And what can you say, man? This album is top notch. Now, Gene Simmons, as he loves to say, discovered Van Halen. No, he saw Van Halen in a club, took him to New York, recorded a few demos, tried to get them a record deal, and he failed, like everything Gene Simmons does, except for Kiss. That's the only thing he's good at. Kiss, and even the merchandising Kiss stuff, that was Bill Aucoin back in the day. And Gene just took it and ran with it, especially after the reunion of 96. But Gene Simmons Records, Gene Simmons Tongue Magazine. I mean, I can go on and on. Anything that guy throws at a wall does not stick. It falls, it flops, unless it's Kiss. He did the same thing, Cinderella. He discovered Cinderella. He didn't do shit with them. John Bonfoni was the one that got them popular. Man, if you're in a band, don't go with Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons Records, did any of those records ever even certify gold? But anyway, he took them to New York and recorded a bunch of demos, said he was going to get him a record deal, couldn't do it, tore up the contract, which was cool for Gene to do, because he did have a contract with him, sent them on their way. All right, good luck to you guys. And it was Mo Austin and Ted Templeman that saw them in a club. They actually discovered Van Halen, because they took him to Warner Brothers, they signed him, and this album was huge. I mean, in the beginning, it went gold like a couple months later, and then it went platinum like later 78. But since then, it has sold over 10 million albums, which means this album and 1984, which also sold over 10 million albums, both those albums combined sold more than the Van Hagar discography. Over that. And, that goes to show number one albums don't mean shit. Record sales don't mean shit, because the Van Halen album that sold the least, other than Van Halen 3, was Fair Warning. And you know how badass that album is. Most people would say it's the best album. This is my favorite Van Halen album, but though I don't have nothing bad to say about any album that had Dave on it. I love them all. They're all great. And this album rules. The track listing is not in order. Let's see if I got it in memory. Running with the Devil, Eruption, You Really Got Me, Ain't Talking About Love, I'm the One, Jamie's Crying, Atomic Punk, Fear Your Love Tonight, Ice Cream Man, and On Fire. I think. I don't know. I think I got it right. But I'm going to take the album out anyway because I might goof up and get it wrong. And I have the German pressing as well. And these pictures are in black and white in the German pressing. Alright, so starting it off with Running with the Devil. Classic. I mean, come on. The horn, which Gene Simmons did come up with, at least he says he did. The backwards horn that starts it, then the bass. And it's a mid-tempo killer song. I love Dave's voice on it. There's an isolated version on here where Dave's like, you know, singing. And it sounds kind of funny, I ain't gonna lie, with the yelping and screaming. But with the music, forget it, man. I live my life like there's no tomorrow. And, you know, Running with the Devil. You know, it's a song about rebellion and kick-assness. And let's kick ass. And it's just... I can't think of a better opening track for the first Van Halen album than Running with the Devil. It's just a perfect song. This whole album is perfect. Love it. Then, like what I said earlier, Eruption was the first thing I heard from this. And you cannot, at least in South Florida, you cannot listen to the radio and hear You Really Got Me without Eruption before it. And yeah, just the ripping on it. I mean, it's futuristic. There was nothing at all like it at the time. It was mind-blowing, you know? At the time, people were like, wow, this is a hotshot guitar player. But later on, people were like, no, yeah, that guy's the best. And mind you, I also got to bring this up. I have to bring it up. Rolling Stone magazine gave this a real shitty review, saying that in 3 years they were going to be fat and bloated and this is garbage music and blah, blah. Well, now Rolling Stone puts this like as one of the greatest debut albums and stuff. Eat crow, you know? They put him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Eat crow. Rolling Stone magazine. What a joke. And, you know, I just saw recently people are going crazy over this Rolling Stone magazine top singers. God, how can they put this guy and not that guy and this? It's like, it's Rolling Stone magazine. Why the hell do you care? Why do you give them any credit? I mean, I wouldn't know about no, you know, greatest singers in Rolling Stone if it wasn't for all the people crying about it. Stop your crying. This album has proved it. So did Led Zeppelin, didn't get a favorable review for Rolling Stone. Neither did Black Sabbath. All those bands are now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Eat crow. Anyway, so Eruption. Rules. You Really Got Me. Great cover. Ray Davies hates it. Or was it Dave Davies? I can't remember. One of the Davies brothers thought it sucked. I thought it ruled. And I like the Kinks version. The original version. It's awesome. It is awesome. Van Halen is better, in my opinion. But timeline's everything. I came into this album before Van Halen 2. I ran out and bought this album soon after Ronnie played it for me in the car. And absolutely love it. You Really Got Me rules. Ain't Talking About Love. Come on. And, you know, the magical thing about Edward Van Halen, you can hear it all in Ain't Talking About Love. Listen to that guitar solo. It's simplistic. It's not ripping or nothing. He's playing for the song. That's why this guy is he's my favorite. This guy is my favorite guitar player, hands down. Ain't Talking About Love, and the way it ends with, hey, 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 man. Never forget, man, seeing Van Halen live back in the day, nobody can touch them with Dave. And they got that whole auditorium, the whole, you know, arena. Hey, hey, hey. Ripping song. Right from that opening riff, you know this song is badass. Ain't Talking About Love rules, man. Then it goes into I'm the One. That's where Eddie, like, he's showing off his guitar chops, but he's still playing to the song. You know, and then you got that middle section with ba-ba-da, shoo-ba-dee-wah. You know Dave came up with that stuff, man. Dave's into that, you know, old, you know, Louis Prima with Just a Gigolo or Big Bad Bill and Sweet William Now and Ice Cream Man on here. He's into that old type thing, and you got that Man, just ripping, and then all of a sudden, ba-ba-da-shoo-wee-wah, and look at all these crazy kids taking care of the music biz. Amazing. And you know, another cool thing about this album, and that's only side one. Well, another cool thing about this album is that it didn't like sell like Boston or, you know, a lot of new albums that went multi platinum. This just sold 1 million the first year. And then, you know, as years gone by, it wasn't until like, you know, the late, I think, 90s, it went to 10 million. But it just kept building and building. That's why they were so successful. It wasn't one of these bands that come out of the gate with this huge album. I mean, there are exceptions. You got Guns N' Roses, who play stadium still on the strength of Appetite. You know, come on, who we bullshitting here? Yeah, you got your November Rains and stuff like that, but it was Appetite that people gravitate to. And I love Chinese Democracy, but I'm talking, you know, for the masses. That's side one. Now, side two opens with Jamie's Crying. My least favorite on here, but I love it. I love the song. And it's got this, never really noticed it till I saw Dave talking about it on, I think, Joe Rogan Experience. He said, you know, it's got this Latin. And that was used on, was it Funky Cold Medina or that other one he did? That singer, that rapper, whatever his name is. Coolio, no, not Coolio. I forgot his name. But anyway, love it though. Even though it's my least favorite on here, it's still a great song. There's not a bad song to be found. But if I was to pick my least favorite, it'd be Jamie's Crying. And boy, they always play Jamie's Crying. But I have several bootlegs from when they opened for Sabbath. They didn't play Jamie's Crying on that tour. I mean, at least the shows I got, or Ice Cream Man. They did every other song on here. But Jamie's Crying's awesome. Atomic Punk is the next one. Wow. That sound effect that Eddie does, man, on that guitar. Ripping, awesome. Probably I would say probably my third favorite. After, my favorite hasn't come up, but I would put Ain't Talking About Love over it. But I love Atomic Punk. Absolutely love that song. It just rips. My third favorite, I think. Let me keep going. But Atomic Punk just rips. I did a cover of it with the Rat Salad guys. You can see it on the, I think you could see it either here or on the Rat Salad Network. We did a video for it and everything. Love Atomic Punk. A scorcher of a song. Probably the heaviest song on here, I would say. Then Feel Your Love Tonight is the next one. Good party, anthemic, killer song. We're getting funny in the back of my car. Love it, man. It's just so... I remember when I saw, not Women and Children First, they didn't play this, but when they played on the Fair Warning tour, I'll never forget the vision of, I think it was the encore, but Dave had these glittery pants on, and they came out and played this song, and it was awesome. I can't wait, with the amazing, amazing backing vocals of Edward and Michael, both together. The best. Love Feel Your Love Tonight. Great party anthem. Now the next one, Little Dreamer. I probably didn't say Little Dreamer, did I? Or I probably said it flip-flop with Ice Cream Man when I was naming the songs on here. But Little Dreamer, beautiful. And I loved, again, Dave's voice, man. It's organic, it's real, it's not like this, you know, too many people out there, and that's cool if you don't like Dave's voice, whatever. But you can't speak for me when I say Dave's voice on this and the Six Pack album, just amazing. Yes, he sounds like a frog now, but back then, it was organic and real, and I thought he delivered great live. A lot of people say, he was never good live. He was great live when I saw him. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it, man. Absolutely love Little Dreamer. The way he sings that song. It's, you know, it's not technically great, but it's great in an organic, real, not trying to be fucking like, you know. Like Sammy Hagar annoys the piss out of me. That voice Technically, it's better, okay? I guess, because he can hit high notes and this and that. Give me Dave. Give me Dave singing like a frog now over Sammy on his best days. I'll take Dave over that. But Little Dreamer, come on. You know, Sammy recently said, oh, I can sing songs of Van Halen laying down, smoking a cigarette, and I don't even smoke cigarettes. Yeah, I know. I've seen you do Panama. I've seen you do a couple songs, Unchained, and it was terrible. It was terrible. And please, don't do Little Dreamer. Ooh, that would be horrible. Hate it. I hate his voice. But I love Dave's voice. And Little Dreamer, it's the mellow song on here, and he's just got this swagger to his voice that just rules everything that Van Halen has ever done. Dave is the best vocalist for Van Halen, in my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. And those that think Sammy's better, that's cool, but there's no way you're going to convince me that's the case, because it's not. To me, it's not. Sammy sucks. Little Dreamer rules. Rules. I love his voice. Then we go into the cover song, John Brim's Ice Cream Man. Have you heard the original of that? Sounds nothing like that version. And it's awesome, man. Dave comes out with the guitar. Dave plays pretty good guitar, man. You know, it's like, you know, what he does, all that acoustic stuff you hear in that song, that's Dave. And Eddie does this solo on that song, forget about it, man. That dun dun and that ripping he does, unbelievable. And a very underrated drummer is Alex Van Halen. I've seen people say he's not underrated. Yes, he is. He's definitely underrated. Because like Eddie, Al's got that sound, man, that it's Al. You hear that drum, you know it's Al. You know, he's got this, you know, with the cymbals and stuff, he's just amazing. And so is Michael. The whole band is just badass. And Ice Cream Man just rips. Now, it ends with my all-time favorite Van Halen song, On Fire. My God, that song. It's just blistering. I would say that and Atomic Punk. You know, that kind of, I don't know, they're both rivals as the heaviest track on this album. I'm the one that's pretty ripping too, but On Fire, forget it, man. Just the song, the way Dave says, I'm hanging 10 now, baby, now ride my sonic wave. Awesome lyrics. And that's another thing that Rolling Stone guy said. Horrible lyrics. They're not. They're awesome, man. Dave wrote awesome lyrics all throughout his whole career. I think Dave had amazing lyrics, you know, and you know, it's not really something that makes sense, but it's, you know, kind of like a poetry, or, you know, I hate the term shithouse poet because there's nothing shit about David Lee Roth, but you know, it's got that swagger and attitude, and you know, Dave, you know, and he's a very intelligent guy. I mean, you ever seen his interviews? I don't know what the hell he's saying. 45 years ago, this album came out today. A day after my birthday. My birthday was yesterday, February 9th. This came out February 10th, 1978. 45 years of the greatest debut album, Straight Face, ever, in my opinion. It's my opinion. If you have a different opinion, that's awesome. But you cannot speak to me like if I'm wrong, okay? Because I'm not wrong. Music is subjective. It's not science. This is the greatest debut album of all time, and the greatest live band I ever seen in my life. Van Halen 1, masterpiece. So, that's it, man. Thank you so much for watching. If you like to subscribe, please do, and ring that little notification bell and like the video, man, if you like what you're seeing. And if you like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. So, stay frosty, as Diamond Dave says. And I never get sick of this album. That's another thing. It's not played out to me. I play this all the time. Still. Today I did. I cranked it loud and I loved it. Listen to the first Van Halen album and listen to Black Sabbath and smack 'em a gaba.